Hello and one and all, and welcome back to my James Bond movie reviewing series, 1 year movie review series. You just saw my review for Doctor No early April. I hope you guys enjoy that. And guys, I will be continuing my Bond series, going into the second Bond film, From Russia with Love. So, From Russia with Love is once again directed by Terence Young and stars once again Sean Connery as James Bond. And this is the fifth Bond book, I think, and where the current president at the time said that it was one of his all-time favourite Bond books. And they were deciding what to make after Doctor No, and sense of that the president from the early 1960s at the time said that From Russia with Love was one of his favourite Bond books, and here we are. That's From Russia with Love, the second Bond film, and like with Doctor No, this will contain some spoilers in here, so you've been warned. So guys, the film begins with the usual gun barrel sequence. You get to see the dot on and everything, and then you get to see the stuntman Bob Simmons. Probably my favourite of the Bob Simmons gun barrel sequence. It's really cool just hearing the music and just the way the dot goes to this end and goes smaller, and then for the first time after a gun barrel sequence we have our first pre-title sequence where Bond is outside in dark, outside a sort of museum or something, whatever, I don't know, and then we're introduced to Red Grant, played by Robert Shaw, who 12 years later this did Jaws as Captain Quint. And then we get one of my favourite moments in the film where Red Grant is coming in, then you hear this sound, and then Bond just turns, faces that way, which is a great moment. I love that moment. And then we see Bond get captured, and then we get to see a mask taken off, and then we introduce to some guy with some moustache. And then we get into our title sequence with the great music playing and everything. And yes, from here now on, they're not playing a Bond. Well, this is sort of a Bond thing, but it's really good music, nonetheless. The From Russia with Love theme song isn't introduced until later in the film, but you get a pretty good title sequence with the girl and everything, and just who stars in the movie and the presenters and everything, the producers and everything, I meant. Then after that we get to this chess scene where we have Kernsten, who is one of the people from the Spectre organization. Yes, that is right, guys. We're still in the Spectre organization. This has to do with in this Bond story. And then let's see what comes after this. And then later on we're introduced to Rosa Clemp, who is the female Bond villain in this film, and then tests out Red Grant, hits him like that, and says he's fit enough, which is a pretty good moment in From Russia with Love. And yeah, it's actually a pretty good moment in there. And then later on, we're introduced to the Bond girl in the film, Titan. So give me a second. Who romance of don't know how to say the name properly, unfortunately. It's an Italian. Oh, the actress who plays her is Italian. Okay. And then after that we get to see Bond out near the river with the girl from Doctor No, the first Bond film. Continues, and then gets telephoned by MI6, and then goes over, gets to see Moneypenny, just throws the hat on the stand, which is, it's really cool when Bond does that, it really is. And then we're introduced to our longest running Desmond Liu Ling, if that's his surname right, as the Q in this movie, and for the first time we actually get to see a suitcase, which is kind of the first gadget we see in the Bond series, but mostly Goldfinger, which is the next review that really gets it there. Inside it, Bond gets to learn how to use it and everything, and then you get to see a knife in there and everything. And then we're also introduced to one of the allies in the movie, Kerim Bey, who's actually a really good ally in the movie and everything. He and Sean Connery's Bond get on really well in this movie. And yes, and I will say, guys, I'm not really a fan of the Bond girl in the movie, to be perfectly honest. I feel like Honey Rider was a better Bond girl in my opinion, but she was an okay Bond girl. She was good looking and everything, and you get a pretty good moment with her and Bond in the bed and everything. And then later on, you're outside before we have our first actual action sequence of the movie. You get to see these girls trying to play war and another girl dancing and everything. And after that, we get our action moment of the movie where we get some action going on, and where we get Kerim Bey's arm shot and everything, and then later he has revenge and everything. Tries to we see sort of this they sort of have this spy gun, and then they go inside a certain building. He and Bond tries to kill the guy coming down from sort of like a picture of a billboard in front of a house, gets out of the window, and then Kerim, if that's his name, hang on, Kerim, yes, Kerim, that's it, and shoots the guy, and that's a good moment there. It's good spy stuff in there, and yes, and I will say though, guys, there are a few things that I kind of find a bit boring, where the hotel scene and everything, and another thing we'll get into in a bit, but later on we get on to the Orient Express later on, and therefore we get to see Kerim get killed off and everything, and later he and the Bond girl and Red Grant meet each other. They're at a table, they're having dinner and all that. And then we get a pretty dramatic scene. Sorry, that's the desk. Anyways, we sort of get a dramatic scene with Bond having a go at the woman, saying what and everything, after when Kerim gets killed off. He's like, James, you're hurting me. Those Bond scenes doesn't really kind of work in a Bond film, to be honest. And yes, I'll get into what I think of it overall in a minute. Oh yes, and Lois Maxwell, they're coming MI6 characters, and Brandy as M, and Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny. They're all great as usual. And then later on we get, and then Red Grunt becomes the baddie, and then we get one of the very first fight scenes in Bond, which is one of the best fight scenes in Bond, which is really cool and everything. You know, Bond uses the knife from the suitcase to stab Grant's arm, and then he and the Bond girl get off the train where Red Grunt was actually, believe it or not, supposed to get off at. And then we get kind of a North by Northwest kind of rip-off scene, I guess. But it's not really a rip-off, it's kind of a redo, I guess. I mean, it's a good scene, though, but I feel like North by Northwest, which is one of my favourite Hitchcock movies, where you get to see James Stewart and the plane go over. Well, in From Russia with Love, we get to see Bond and sort of like a Spectre helicopter and everything, which is a good scene, but I will say though, it's not great or anything, but it will do. And then later on we get a pretty better scene where you get to see Bond on a boat and everything, doing some more action, gets all the exploding barrels out of the boat and explodes them all and everything. And then later on in the film we see that the other Spectre organization people and Rosa Klebb that Red Grunt is killed. And then we get to see Curran Sten, who played the chess game, gets killed off. And then later on we get our final fight thing with Bond and Rosa Klebb. Rosa Klebb trying to use her knife shoe to attack Bond. And then Vanjie Tantana, the Bond girl, shoots Rosa Klebb, and yeah, that's it. And that's the film over. And then Bond has like a sort of a film tape, throws it and does this little thing. It's pretty weird, but yeah. And then we have the really good music from Russia with Love thing, which is actually at the end of the movie and not the actual title sequence. As in the future Bond films, they have their main Bond themes to the title sequences, and then it's revealed that Goldfinger is going to be their next Bond film at the ending credits. Now, overall, guys, I actually do enjoy From Russia with Love. It is a great Bond film. I will say, though, people do consider us one of the best, if not the best. I mean, this is Sean Connery's personal favourite of his that he did. I will say, I do like From Russia with Love a lot. I mean, it's got great moments here and there. But I will say, though, I don't, like, really love From Russia with Love. But I will say, it is a great entry in the Bond series. I mean, I would say Dr. No, in my opinion, is a better film, just because it has some dark, cold-blooded scenes in there. Just because I'm more into the cold-blooded Bond and everything. But yeah, what else can you get anyway? Let's get to the positives. Sean Connery is great as Bond. He really is Bond at the time being, you know. And then you get to see all the other MI6 characters. They're all great. And Red Grunt makes the movie. Robert Shaw, who really makes the movie great and everything. And yeah, and you have one of the greatest fight scenes in Bond. One of probably the first real good fight scene we get, which is really good. But yeah. Now, I will say that I do have a few problems with the movie, and that's the Bond girl's okay, but she just doesn't really stand out too much. I mean, the moment with her and Bond in the bed is pretty good, but I just feel like the Bond girl didn't work that much. And then the hotel scenes are pretty boring. Well, you do have the Bond theme in there. Oh, and John Barry's first time doing in this Bond music, and it's pretty good. And then the Spectre helicopter scene is good, but it does kind of feel like North by Northwest a little bit. This is probably considered the Hitchcock of all the Bond films. But yeah. So overall, guys, From Russia with Love, I do really enjoy From Russia with Love a lot. As I said, with the pros and everything, Sean Connery, the MI6, and Robert Shaw as Red Grant, all great characters, along with Kieran, the Bond ally, who is also really good. And great to see Desmond as the Q from here until the world is not enough. And yeah, guys, this is definitely one of Connery's best Bond films. Not like my favourite Bond film, like what some Bond fans would consider it to be, but it is up there, in my opinion. Despite a couple of problems I do have with From Russia with Love, I will say, though, I do think Dr. No is better, but overall, this is a great Bond film still. But yes, it's not quite in my top 5 favourite Bond films. I know that's kind of shocking, but it's up there. It's one of the best, for sure. But on my rating scale, I am going to give From Russia with Love a 9 out of 10. Alrighty guys, that was my review on From Russia with Love. Comment down below, let me know what you guys thought of From Russia with Love. Let me know below in the comments. And stay tuned next month, which will be May, where I will review the next 2 Bond films in May, which are going to be Goldfinger and Thunderball. So look forward to that, guys. And as always, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. All the social media links are in the description below. Don't forget to click on the notification bell before you leave. And as always, until my next video, I will see you guys then, and peace.